that I live where that bad storm and wind and those little micro bursts of tornadoes had came. Pennsylvania is in a state of emergency in so many ways right now, y'all. Don't even bother coming to Pennsylvania. Don't bother moving here. Don't even vacation here right now. Stay out of Pennsylvania. Okay. I really thought that it was the end the other day. I thought that my house was going to get taken away, that everybody's houses on my street was going to be taken away by the winds, and we were lucky, but other people weren't. Okay, there's people in this city here, they're homeless. Their houses were destroyed by that storm and that little microburst tornado. I've been in three um, small tornadoes. I've been in three. I've been in three. Okay, I survived all three, but I thought I wasn't going to make it in this one, y'all. When I tell you this house was shaking like this, shoo, 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 and I thought my windows were going to bust in. I kept getting messages on my phone: run for cover, go into your basement now, protect yourself. I kept getting messages with that over again on my phone. I knew that there was going to be casualties. I just was hoping it wasn't going to be my house, and I thought it was going. I thought it was going to be one, y'all. I heard this loud crash sound where it sounded like somebody's house got crashed or something. Okay, like it sounded like a helicopter crashed on something. I said, "Woo, child!" I didn't go to look. I said, "It can't be that. It can't get worse." So I turned on the news and it said Pennsylvania has been declared a state of emergency. And it said my area, it showed where I live at, it showed people's houses was literally wrecked. And people was like they're homeless now. They don't know where they're going to live. I'm like, woo! I said, God saved my house. Okay, but then I think it couldn't get worse. That's what I thought. I thought it couldn't get worse. Why did I go to get some food and Walmart is like, first of all, I was going to go to Sam's Club and it was jam packed. I'm talking about there was no parking spots in that lot. So I said, I'm going to go to Walmart then, like my family members go to. And there was literally practically no food in here. Like we're talking about half of Walmart was empty of food. Half of Walmart was empty of food. I went to the lady and was like, yo, why y'all don't got no food really here? Like, why you only got canned stuff? Y'all only got a little bit of food in this place now compared to how much y'all got. Hey, I said, where's the meat? Where's the fish? Where? She was like, where have you been? She said, the trucks is on strike and stuff. We closed down for 3 days. And then she said, and we ain't getting no more food. This is it. I was like, what? She was like, this is it. Okay. They only had two people working the cashier machines. All those people then got laid off in Walmart, y'all. I was like, whoa. I couldn't find hardly nothing that I needed to cook. Y'all, there was no chicken, there was no beef, there was no haddock, there was no pollock, there was no salmon. When I tell y'all that plate, there was no vegetables, there was no broccoli, no spinach, nothing. I was like, you mean to tell me I basically got to live off canned food? So then I said, I'll go to Sam's Club. But it was like, well, I'm not even going to go to Sam's Club because they probably out because what happened in that Walmart. So I said, what about the other Walmart? She said, some of the other Walmarts is the same. I said, but not everybody can afford a membership at Sam's Club or Costco. She was like, right. I said, okay. So then I was like, well, John Eagle. I said, or John Eagle is so small that I already know they out. I know they out. They hardly even have anything anyway. So I was like, what? Y'all, I said, right when it's a state of emergency, Walmart gonna do this though. Walmart gonna roll like this. We in a state of emergency where there's people homeless, lost their homes due to a micro burst of a tornado. Cause I don't think y'all know it hit this area where I live at. But they had the nerve, the Walmart had the nerve to do that because of their trucks. Then I looked at the discount store to get clothes and shoes. They closed down. I'm like, okay, wait a minute here. Wait a minute. So I said, yeah, I'm going to go over to Big Lots and get me some toothbrushes. Big Lots closed. I'm like, this is getting bad now. This is getting bad. So basically, my city is going under. Like, this is under. All right. All during the state of emergency, though. All during the state of an emergency. Now, I live in actually what's supposed to be one of the best parts of this state. But I can't tell, though, y'all. I can't tell. I can't imagine what people are going through in Pittsburgh. I can't imagine what they're going through in the West. Because I live east. I can't imagine what they're going through west of Pennsylvania. Because that is bona fide struggle town. Struggle part. The west of Pennsylvania is in full-blown struggle energy. So I'm like, I can imagine what they're going through over there. Y'all. Woo! I'm glad my mother ain't allowed to see this. I would have to move my mother in. I went to go look at the rent prices. I'm talking about, yeah, we're going to move out of our daughter's home. You know, we've been looking after for her. I don't want to live over here no more. I'm tired of this place. I'm looking at the rent. They talk about, y'all. My daughter told me what her rent was. My daughter is paying literally $1,000 for a place that is no bigger than my downstairs. Like, she's basically paying for a semi-studio apartment. Over $1,000 for a semi-studio apartment that is so small, it's unbelievable, y'all. Okay? My kitchen is 2 of her rooms. This kitchen here is 2 of her rooms. Yeah, my daughter is paying well over $1,000. And I'm thinking in my head, now that don't even include her gas and electric. Okay? So y'all can imagine how much money my daughter is paying for rent for a super, super small place. Okay? Her place is the same size as a government housing. It's the exact same size. I told her, you might as well go ahead and live in the projects for all that. I mean, if it's going to roll like that. But that's how bad it is here, y'all. Stay out of Pennsylvania. This state is going under. Our mayors, they don't know what they're doing. This state here is actually over 200 years old, and it's actually in loads of debt. Okay, it owes so much money. This state owes so much. I forgot how much, but it's a lot. Okay, you can't even get a used car here if you don't pay the same price you pay for a new car. I looked up the used cars, thinking I was going to get a used car. They want almost $10,000 for a car with well over 200,000 miles. I'm like, are you serious, bruh? No one's paying $10,000. No one's paying more than $5,000 for a car with over 200,000 miles. No, it's a no. It's a no. But that's what they want here, to get a car. Now, I know what y'all saying. You don't need a car. In Pennsylvania, you do. Pennsylvania is nothing but hills. It doesn't matter where you go. It's hills upon hills upon hills. Now, if you're under 40, yeah, you can mac these hills. But if you over 40 and not in shape, you're going to need a car to live in Pennsylvania. The bus transportation don't even park near you unless you live in the really rich neighborhoods. Okay? Unless you own a $200,000 home, the bus transportation ain't near where you live. Okay? You going to be macking to get to your house when you get off the bus. Okay? And then the buses, they come when they want to here in Pennsylvania. They don't give a damn about you. Like, this is real talk. These bus drivers come 15, 20 minutes early, and there's not sorry. They don't care. They will drive right by you while you're at the bus stop. They don't care. Okay? Unless you are living in a neighborhood where you pay like $100,000 and up for your home, the bus stops when it feels like stopping for you. Yes. And this is an extremely racist state. Okay? If you're black, stay out of Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, it has become a place where only the rich can survive here. That's it. That's it. That's it, y'all. That's it. If you don't know somebody in Pennsylvania, you ain't making it. You're not making it here. Okay? You have no choice but the network. Or you're stuck. Unless you're making well over $100,000 to live here, you're stuck. Okay? I know someone is literally on welfare, living in government housing, and he has to spend all day long washing cars, selling stuff that he bought for cheap off the streets, just for him to keep food on his table and clothes on his back and soap and washcloths in his house. Like, this is no lie, y'all. And he is literally still getting help from welfare. Okay? And welfare here in Pennsylvania have a very high limit. So, very low limit. So basically, if you make like $40,000 a year on welfare and it's just you don't get no welfare. You're not getting no welfare. The welfare here in Pennsylvania says if you make $40,000 a year by yourself, you don't get no welfare. They don't care if you're paying $4 for eggs. They don't care if you're paying $3.75 for milk. They don't care. It's still the same. It's still the same as it was back in the 70s and 80s. If you make $40,000 a year and you live alone, you don't get no stamps. You don't get no cash assistance. You don't get nothing. How do I know? Because they told me that. I'm being vulnerable with y'all. Before me and my husband even got married, when we was making $40,000 a year, they said we couldn't get no welfare. When I went home and told my husband, they said we can't get welfare, they denied me. He said, how they deny us? We only making $40,000 a year. Like, you're making 20-some thousand, I'm making 20-some thousand. I'm pumping gas. You're doing door-to-door sales. I said, they said that that's the limit. And that's sad. I asked the lady, but I'm only like a couple hundred over. She said, we could deny anybody we feel like it. Denied. My husband was like, they didn't even give you a review time. I said, no, she denied us on the spot. So when I tell y'all, I'm only telling y'all from experience. And if you don't drive a nice car in Pennsylvania and you're black, you will get pulled over almost every day of your life. If you drive a used car in Pennsylvania and you're black, you better stay in the projects and drive around there. Once you drive out of the projects and you're black in a used car, you're going to get pulled over so many times, you're going to say, why even have a car? Because Pennsylvania is so racist, they don't want no one. It is financial discrimination here. They don't really want poor black people here. They want you out of here. Y'all. And it is the honest truth. They don't want wealthy blacks here, and they don't want poor black people here. They really don't want nobody black here. Like, if you black, you better go as close as you can to the projects. They will try to push you over there. Okay? And if you try to even make it outside the projects and you black, your neighbors will push you out. Your neighbors will push you out unless you got family with you in that neighborhood that can protect you, or unless you're cool with somebody in with the law. If you don't got connections here in Pennsylvania and you're black and you think you're going to come here and buy property, you're screwed. You're going to have your property, but you're not going to have no peace. You're not going to have no peace. Okay? And then they find in Pennsylvania, they try to make up reasons to come in your house, to find reasons to kick you out of your house if you're black. They make up stuff. Oh, we're here to check the gas thingy, and we have to check it on the inside. That's what they tell you. And you like, no, you don't got to check the gas on the inside. The gas meter is right there. What do you mean you need to come in here? But I noticed last year they were going in everybody's house that was black on this neighborhood. I saw them go to the black lady's house over there, the black lady's house right there. The one black lady said, I didn't open the door. Then the cops came. She said, I didn't open the door. I didn't answer. I said, they're doing that on purpose. They're trying to get somebody in our houses so to see if there's something they can like use against us to audit or to tag or to use a reason to kick us out. I said, she said, that's why I didn't open the door. That's why I didn't open the door. But it's wild. It's wild, y'all. Hi, everybody. Hi, Brent. It's a state of emergency now. And it's still raining, y'all. I don't know if y'all know anything about Pennsylvania, but Pennsylvania have hills that lead to the neighborhoods. So when it floods, all that water goes right to where everybody's living at. So by still raining today after we had storm and floods yesterday, 2 days ago, whatever, and that little tornado thing, and now today we're having rain. Y'all, there's going to be houses in the river, y'all. There's already some sliding down right now. And then it's like, that's why people went shopping like that. You know, Walmart is like almost 80% empty up in there, y'all, with food. Whenever Pennsylvania has a state of emergency like this, floods and storms and microburst tornadoes, these stores get real empty. But then Walmart is not restocking. I said, how could you not restock? No, I'm not going to lie. I was lucky. God, I'm so thankful for my membership today. I was lucky to have a family member put me on their Sam's Club membership. But guess what's going to happen if I go to Sam's Club? A lot of that stuff is going to be gone because the white people that's living in that neighborhood, they always shop there. So they going buck wild in there. That parking lot was packed to, there was not a parking spot in sight. So I just drove on by. I said, there ain't no sense in me going in there. So even if I do go over there now, there's nothing in there. There's not going to be, you know, the white people, they can afford, here in Pennsylvania, they can afford to stock up on 2-3 weeks worth of fish and stuff. So they're cleaned out. They're cleaned out. Okay. Sam's is cleaned out. So I guess I'm living off. I don't know how long this is going to go on with these empty shelves, store after store, empty shelves. It's like we in 2020 again over here. I don't know how long this is gonna go on, but I guess I'm gonna eat canned tuna and try to make my whiting stretch or whatever. But we started using our gift cards to get food, y'all. Woo, my family members came in 2 days ago and was like, I ordered food because of the tornado and stuff. And they said I used my gift card to order us some food. I said, it can't be that bad. I said, but then I remember my house shaking. But then when I turned on the news, it said state of emergency. Look what's going on in Pennsylvania. And then it said, showed my city. I said, here? And I realized that I'm lucky. It could have been my house. I mean, it was hit. It did hit here. Last time I was in a tornado, a microburst tornado, and this is not a lie. I ain't lying, y'all. It took out the houses on the street behind me, and 2 streets up, it took out my friend's house. Okay, it took half of their house out. What? It ripped a part of their house off and threw a big fat tree in their house. I was lucky it didn't hit my house. Okay, but I remember the wind got so strong that when I went to check the locks on the door, and I had opened the door by accident. All right, I thought the door was locked, and I said, "Oh, I'm gonna check the lock," and I opened it for a minute. It blew me back, like I went blown back. It threw the door open and blew me off my feet. And then I shut the door and I ran downstairs. I took my baby. Trinity was a baby then. Some of y'all met Trinity. I took her down in the basement. And I just prayed. I was home alone, like, God, please, or whatever. But I just feel bad for the people that's sitting up there with their houses tore down, all while these shelves are empty. Like, what are they doing? Like, I know y'all saying, oh, there's food banks. Our food banks ain't good here. Everybody know, if you're in Pennsylvania, we got the weakest food banks ever. Okay, ever. Like, our food banks don't really give you like stuff like that. Okay. And they're not good. Our food banks give you like outdated food and powdered milk. They still giving out stuff that they was given when during the Black Panther, stuff that's not healthy for you, really. So it's not like they could run these food banks and all of that, because they're not really getting much there. They might give you like one bag of fish. They don't really care about your family size here. Like, they don't. Like, you sit there and be like, I got 5 people in my family, and you still taking home the same amount of food as everybody else. Like, that's how the food banks work here. Yep. Don't come here. Don't come to Pennsylvania, y'all. There's nothing here. It's a dying state, and it's cursed. This state is cursed. And I told y'all why Pennsylvania is cursed. Okay, Pennsylvania was for slavery. Like, Pennsylvania was for the South. It wasn't for the North. This place is cursed. If I recall in history, Harriet Tubman was hiding out here for a short while. Why did she have to hide in Pennsylvania if Pennsylvania was free? Because it wasn't free. It was fake free. Pennsylvania was a fake slave-free state. It was saying that it was for freedom for slaves, but it really wasn't. It was the owners here were snitching. Okay, they was calling people in the South and saying that their slaves was up here. So the point that I'm making is, don't come here. I don't know why so many black people want to come here and be like, then they get here and they be like, I should have never came here. And I'd be like, we warned you. Like, how many people in Pennsylvania got to warn black folks to stay in the South? Y'all come here and then y'all say, this place sucks. This place is racist. I'm getting the hell out of here. I'm going home. And we say, well, we warned you. Okay? So don't come here now. There's no sense of coming here now. Look what happened to August Wilson Museum. There's no August Wilson Museum. You know what he has? He has a library room. And it's not even at the real library. Okay? The library that August Wilson used to go to, I used to go to when he was going to that library. When August Wilson was still living in that neighborhood, not far from my grandmother. Okay, he lived up on Sugar Top, like near Sugar Top on the hill. When he lived over there, my mother lived over there, and they were friends. When my mother had me, he still lived over there. The library I was going to, he was going to. If y'all don't know who August Wilson is, he's the writer of Fences and other plays, famous plays. But his room is not even in the authentic library. They shut that library down because they knew it was so close to the original part of the black community of the Hill. So in effort to keep those blacks, old school blacks from coming, they went ahead and put another building, okay, nowhere near where the black people live. They put the library where the white people live, in the upper part of Hill where the white people live. Because they don't want black folks in the library no more. And y'all, it's wild. But it's like they have an August Wilson room there. And I'm like, how could you have an August Wilson room there and that's not even his library? That's not where he wrote Fences at. He wrote the play Fences on Dinwiddie. That's where he wrote it. My mother was with him when he was walking to the library to write his famous plays. He wrote his plays at the Dinwiddie Library, not at the Center Avenue Library. But the reason why they won't put up a separate building or use that building to be the August Wilson Literary Center, that's what they need to do. Okay? Because he wasn't the only one, he wasn't the only artist from that neighborhood. There was also Teeny, who was friends with my grandmother, the photographer, friends with my grandmother. He also was taking photographs on that street and on Fifth Avenue, right below Dinwiddie. So they need to just make that library into an arts and literary center. But they won't because they don't want black people in that neighborhood anymore. They know it will attract too many black folks. So this is what I'm saying. Don't even come to the state of Pennsylvania. Okay? Don't come, y'all. There's nothing here for y'all. There's no jobs. There's like no jobs here. Only job you're getting in Pennsylvania is literally a labor job. Retail. If you want to work in retail, come here. Okay? You're going to go on interview after interview after interview if you're black. You'll just be like a whole year of unemployed interview hopping. And then you'll end up having to take a McDonald's job or retail just to live in your apartment but still be homeless in your apartment. Y'all, it's crazy. I'm going to keep it real with y'all. If I wasn't lucky enough to have a generational home that belongs to my daughter to stay in, I'd probably be moving in with my mother-in-law, and my sister. My sister was trying to see if I would live with her. She was like, why don't y'all come live with me? I said, she wants the extra income. That's what she wants. And I don't blame her. You know, I wasn't mad at her. She was trying to get me to live with her because she needs the money. But it's coming down to where I'm going to have to move very soon. And I don't know where that's going to be. Because in Pennsylvania, they also want you to have lived rich, almost rich or upper middle class, just to give you an apartment. So it's like if you don't show that you've been making loads of money for a while, then they're not even going to rent to you. And in Pennsylvania, they want first month's rent, last month's rent, security deposit, and most of the places here don't even include electricity and gas. You're paying for everything. First 3 months rent, last month's rent, security deposit, and gas and electric. Plus, they also charge trash now. You got to pay for your trash now. Y'all, it's wild. Do y'all know some of the people in my neighborhood over here, they don't have no running water. There's people living in their homes that they had for over 30 years and they have no running water in this neighborhood. And it's not because they don't care. No money. They're over 60. Their husbands or their family members are dead. And it seems like people don't live long in Pennsylvania. It's like, am I the only one to notice that you don't see too many 90-year-olds walking around? Like, where's the 80 and 90-year-olds around here? Why are so many people dead under 80 in Pennsylvania? I think it's because of all the toxic air. Pennsylvania is like the smoky state. You know, there's all this pollution everywhere. You know, I've had to tell people, they say, well, why don't you dust your house? I do. How much dusting can I do? I'm literally like the dust queen. Dust. Everybody's cars in one day over here looks like it been through World War II. You could take your car to the car wash right now, and tomorrow it'll look like you ain't washed your car in weeks. It's just that it's that much pollution in Pennsylvania. All right, y'all, I got to get ready to go. I'll see y'all later. Have a good one. Can you walk around the other way? Because I'm on a live video. Okay, I can stay. They're going to walk around the other way. What was up with Walmart?
What do you mean?
You don't know about Walmart?
What about it? Well, their power was probably out yesterday.
No, they said they ain't getting no food in. Trucks ain't come in. And they saying they don't know when they're going to get more food.
Because of the storm.
Yeah, but she said they ain't restocking. Because I asked her, I said, when you put more food out? She said, we ain't. This is it. We don't know when we're going to put more food out. I said, you can't say that, though, but because you're like not everybody can afford a membership at Sam's Club, and Giant Eagle can't feed this whole community. That place is too small. I was going to go to Giant Eagle. I was like, why even go there? They don't have nothing. Like, and they're probably like really empty now. Because Walmart being the way it is, everybody ran to Giant Eagle.
And they're expensive.
Yeah, they're super expensive. People are saying Walmart's expensive. Giant Eagle's way more expensive than Walmart.
Yeah.
But I was going to go in Sam's Club, but it was packed all the way.
I'm sure it was.
I was like, everybody done ran to Sam's Club because of Walmart.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to go all the way in there, all the way to the back of Sam's Club, think I'm going to get some fish, and there ain't going to be nothing there.
Probably. Well, all right. No big deal.
Well, what are we going to do? You're going grocery shopping, though, Friday. What are you going to do?
It is what it is. I'll figure something out.
I asked her about the other Walmart. She said the Walmart in Carnegie's closed, so don't go there. That's what she said.
Well, there's one in North Versailles, but that might be closed too.
Okay, they can't keep. They can't close everywhere. That's not going to make it. People are not going to make it.
Well, they don't have power.
Wait a minute. I thought the state of emergency was just for people's homes that they showed.
No.
People's homeless because they took their homes
power out everywhere still. They're saying 5 to 7 days for some people.
What are they going to do? What are they going to do? The takeout's too expensive.
Yeah, it is what it
Y'all, I didn't know that the stores were closing because of the power outage. I didn't know that. But they said their trucks went on strike, Eric.
I didn't know nothing about that.
Walmart, the lady said the trucks ain't bringing in no food. They on strike. They didn't shut down.
That's okay.
They ain't bringing in no meat. No meat and no vegetables. What'd you say?
Sam's Club is Walmart.
Okay, then what is Sam's Club gonna do? Wow. I guess ain't nobody gonna get no food. I guess we're gonna have to. You're gonna end up having to leave this city just to get food. But those places are not gonna have anything because that's where everybody's going. This is like 3 cities in one. Everybody can't run to Giant Eagle. Giant Eagle is not big enough to feed like 3 cities.
Giant Eagle, shop and save, Aldi. Here's what it is.
Have you seen all these meat sections? It's literally not even half the size of our table. No, that's not gonna work. Y'all, they basically these three cities, because it's about three cities or four, right? Is it four or three cities? It's about four cities over here, right?
What do you mean?
That's circling us. Because there's Pleasant Hills.
Pleasant Hills, Jefferson Hills,
Yeah, there's about four. There's about four.
Last four, I mean,
Okay, but four cities is supposed to go to Giant Eagle and Aldi's.
they got their own Giant Eagles.
I'm not talking about Glassport. I'm talking about Pleasant Hills.
Well, you got a different one. That's cool. There's no Giant Eagles.
Pleasant Hills is sharing the same one as two other cities. So how can three cities all shop at just one grocery store? You try to make me understand how that's going to work out. Yeah. So they talk about the other stores they gonna restock. They just gonna stay empty for like the next 5 days. So what three cities are all gonna run? Everybody's gonna go get their food at that little Giant Eagle? No. There's gonna be people complaining. Give it on the third day. Watch, people gonna be like, this ain't working. There's a food shortage. We're gonna hear about it on YouTube. Y'all. And you know the Snobville, they're not gonna like that they gotta shop at the same store that we have to shop at.
Blue fucking who?
You know how they are over there.
Don't care. Blue who?
They're gonna look at you, they're gonna look at us on this side like, what the hell you doing here? Yo, it's gonna be straight up racism in here. This part of Pennsylvania is very divided, y'all. Okay, we don't do them, they don't do us. But now we gotta do each other because we gotta share the same stores. I want to see how this is gonna go. When them Karens start coming for people, they're gonna see that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. Hi, everybody. There's a lot of Karens over that side. Karens. Woo, there's some Karens over there. I like this because it's like Karen free on this side, but it's like Karenville over there. But we all got to meet at one place to get our groceries. I tried to get groceries somewhere today, 2 different places. No. So I got to go to Karenville to find the fish and the fresh veggies. But I don't like to go to Karenville because they look at you like, what are you doing here? Attitudes and stuff. I don't got time for it. I don't know if y'all know that Pennsylvania is still very segregated. Okay. It's still divided, y'all. Pennsylvania refused to stop being divided. Okay, it's still the same. You know, we did have Johnny Gammett here, and my uncle was murdered by the police here, so it is that type of state. You know, people are mad at baby boomers. I'm mad at baby boomers for having babies in Pennsylvania. Like, what the hell possessed my grandmother to have kids here? Woo! My brother left when he was in his 20s and has never moved back. Y'all, when he's staying in Pennsylvania, when he comes to visit for the holidays, he just stand there and be like, this is his face, y'all. He be like, he stands like this. Like, it's just like torture torture for him to be back here. And he leaves right after the funeral. Like, soon as the funeral ends, he's like, oh, I'm going home, y'all. I'm going home. He gets right back on the road and drives right back to Georgia. Whew. People go, I don't know what possessed people to think that Pennsylvania, because of the city lights, and what are they doing for you? So Pennsylvania do look good from bridges. When you stand on bridges and you look at Pennsylvania, you be like, ah, look at the bright lights in the city. Yeah. But that's about it. That's about it, y'all. That's about it. There's nothing here. There's no decent clubs. A lot of the restaurants, their food suck. It's extremely congested. I don't even want to talk about the South Side. Who wants to talk about the South Side in Pennsylvania? Anybody in Pennsylvania in here? The South Side is straight up trash. Okay? That place is so congested that I thought I was going to catch a case like 10 different times when I was over there last month. I was driving over there and there was people in front of my car coming this way, that way. People coming from the side of my car to come around. Y'all, I really thought that I was going to run somebody down. That I literally just like, please God, get me out of the South Side so I don't catch a case and hit one of these white people with my car by accident and I end up in jail and they found my body hanging because I didn't kill the child of Karen. And so Karen came for me through the system. Y'all, I'm telling you, I was like, please don't let me hit none of these white kids while I'm driving through Southside. I got off that road, and I'm not saying that all white people are racist in Pennsylvania, but I can tell you the black people, they know to keep their mouth shut and mind their business. It's kind of, don't speak, like mind your business, okay? Like, we know if the cops pull you over, you're better off not talking until spoken to. You know, don't ask no questions. Don't even look at these cops hard. Like, literally go in the most humble energy you can go into. Because they are not nice. These cops here are not nice. They not nice, y'all. They not nice. My daughter's boyfriend is literally biracial. And he's kind of like dark light skin. He got pulled over so many times by the cops. He don't even want another car. I have got pulled over for no reason, like 5 different times. Yeah. And the 2 times the cops came for me, I wasn't even driving. Can y'all tell me how that's possible? I had literally just sat in my car. I literally just sat in my car and the cops came for me. And I'm like, I didn't even drive yet. I didn't drive yet. I told the cop, I was like, what did I do? I literally just got my car. I said, what did I do? He said, nothing if you check out. I'm like, but I'm literally I just got my car on a public street in a neighborhood where people live at. I'm not in a private neighborhood. I'm in a public neighborhood. And you going to tell me that I need to check out just because I sat in my car. Did I tell you that happened to me? Yeah. You know that was illegal for you just sit in your car. But I wasn't in no private area. As a matter of fact, I was doing a jitney trip. So why did I have to get screamed at by the police? My husband said because he was a pig. It
is a pig.
You said because they are the pigs. Eric, I thought you said that he was a pig. You said they are a pig. They are the pigs.
They are the pigs.
He scared the hell out of me. And he was in an unmarked car. He was in a Dodge Charger with black tinted windows.
Yeah. They do that now.
Huh?
They do that now.
And then his badge wasn't showing. and he pulled it out only after he asked me for my ID. I said, officer, what did I do? I'm sitting in my car. I just out my car. He said, nothing if you check out. And I literally jumped. I literally flipped. I was like, okay. I was scared to go out my purse then. I was scared, because they might say, oh, done. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of made me scared. I was just hoping that my hand didn't land on my black Bluetooth, because then it would have looked like I had a little pistol. And then he might have pulled his gun out and said, "Gun, hands over your head," because he think I got a pistol in my hand, but it's my Bluetooth. I was just glad that my ID was it was easy for me to reach my ID. Y'all. I stay be talking to people, my family, when I'm on video with y'all. Y'all never know when they're going to show up. Dad, you in there firing on them chips.
Hungry.
You hungry?
Yeah.
And there's a piece of lasagna in here. And don't be like, y'all can afford lasagna. He made instant lasagna, right? Oven baked. Stofers. Even though we can cook, we just ain't trying to spend that money on cooking all the time the way they charging. You got that stuff with your gift card, huh? Texas Roadhouse.
No.
Oh, I thought you did.
I forgot about it.
Oh, I knew I should have reminded you. Dang, you mean to tell me you spent your hard-earned money on Texas Roadhouse?
All right.
And you had gift cards over there. Ooh, I know you like, ooh. Well, at least you got a discount from Trinity, our daughter. So what are you going to do?
What do you mean?
You're going to use the Texas Roadhouse cards next time? Texas Roadhouse. Is that a 5-star restaurant or is it a If you can afford to eat at Texas Roadhouse, you kind of feeling like it's your birthday, huh? And remember, we used to be able to eat at those places with no problem. And you make more money now. And I was literally rolling it in on YouTube, and still was like, he wants to pay for a $60 dinner the way the economy is. I miss Ponderosa. You miss Ponderosa? Who remembers Ponderosa? You miss Ponderosa?
Yeah.
Or you wasn't liking it at the steakhouse? Anybody remember Ponderosa? You was able to get, I think we